Yo, welcome to another video. And today's video I'm going to review one of my games during the DreamHack that has been happening over the last few weeks. And I choose to go for the one against PartinG first. So I'm going to watch the first person perspective of mine and I'm going to comment on it. So this is a recording from my last DreamHack live stream pretty much. It was the season finals group stage, and I'm gonna talk about my thoughts here and what I was planning. So as you can see, the game is against PartinG. So before I started to prepare for this matchup, I knew what PartinG would play roughly. I had a pretty good idea about his playstyle because he is very present in like tournaments like GSL. And he really likes the Blinkstalker play. That's what I had in mind for the first map pretty much. Blinkstalkers. I open up the game with a standard build. I didn't plan anything special. I wasn't thinking about doing like a proxy or anything like that, as I think I'm better in the straight up game against PartinG in this case. There we see a bunch of sub alerts as well. Of course, that was live streamed. I'm just gonna talk you through the game here. So there's the probe scout. The timing of it is really normal. At this point, roughly, the probe should arrive. So I was thinking, okay, there's probably not gonna be a proxy gate. Proxy gate is something he does sometimes as well, but it wasn't the case because the probe arrived like in time. I still SCV scouted just to make sure that I know. In tournaments you can skip some corners sometimes by not scouting, for example. But in this case I just wanted to be safe because I didn't know my opponent that much, specifically from ladder. Against opponents that I play in practice I can feel more comfortable not scouting, but against a Korean player like PartinG I don't really feel that comfortable not scouting. I scouted with the SCV that he is going Cybercore first. That means I need to get a bunker after my depot is done. So now my depot is done and that SCV is also gonna build the bunker. I also scouted around my base because once again I don't know my opponent from practice, so I don't know his habits. So the safest way of playing is scouting around a little bit with the Reaper instead of being too cocky with it. Here I even put it back so that the adept that is inevitably going to shade across the map isn't going to do any damage. By the way, this game was played last week, so I don't actually have like, I don't remember it 100%, so I don't know what happens here specifically. Here I just try and not lose the Reaper, that's very important. And I'm actually going to be able to pick off the adept, which is really good. I didn't mark her like perfectly behind it, like my starboard was maybe a little late. You can see me put the workers in gas just now. It could have been maybe slightly faster, but yeah, considering that we were playing on the Western and A server, I think that was pretty good. So now after defending off the adept, I still need to get information. So I scouted that it was Cybercore first, and he went adept into Stalker. Cybercore first means if you go Stalker afterwards, it's probably not going to be a Stargate. And keep in mind what I said at the beginning. I know that PartinG likes Blinkstalker, so my build here is specifically designed to counter aggression with Blinkstalkers. Here I go in, I see 2 additional gateways being warped in, and I also noticed the Robo being very fast. So here at this point, I knew he was going to try and Blinkstalker pressure me. I don't know to what extent, but I knew this was going to be a Blinkstalker pressure. So I already prepared my build. In this case, my build to blind counter it is to go 3 racks, but like no Water Mine drop. I go for a tank, and I go for 1 Liberator for harassment. The 1 Liberator is just there so I have some kind of counter pressure. In some cases it's not really necessary, but like what else should I get? Should I get a Viking? It's kind of slow. A Liberator is really cool, I think. It can definitely get rid of some probes, even if there's 2 Stalkers in his lane. And now I'm just trying to make sure that I don't die to the pressure. So I'm getting a second bunker on the natural. The bunker in the natural can get snapped very easily. I only have one tank. So if I can like... If I lose one bunker, I still have the other one. And also keep in mind, I put another bunker in my base and I saw the warp prison. So at this point I know what's going on. And now I just need to make sure my defense is on point. I'm hotkeying some SCVs here to make sure that my defense is going to be on point. I'm just looking for the observer. I'm trying to make sure he doesn't just blink in. He does blink in here, but I have 2 tanks in place. He's gonna pick off one, but the other one is still shooting. My Liberator in the meantime is actually going down in the main base. I wasn't paying attention. And now he's committed with the Stalkers, which is really good for me because I have a perfect defense here. This was an amazing defense. Yeah. It can't really get any better than that. I kill off every single Stalker. And I did lose my Liberator, but the defense at home was pretty much perfect. No mistakes were made in this case. So now the transition is going to be a Warp Prism drop after Blink Stalker harassment. That's what I had in mind. So I see he wants to take a 3rd base. And I also know that he's probably going to drop with the Warp Prism and he's not going to blink in anymore. So with how my tanks are currently standing, he can do some harassment. So I put some Marines and the tank into my main, like into the mineral line, so that the Warp Prism wouldn't do any damage with the 4 Stalkers that he is probably going to drop. I don't even remember. I think he's gonna drop though, like he should. Okay, so after defending the Blink Stalker, I thought like, okay, I'm in a good position. I should go for an attack myself in order to punish him. That was my thought process here. And that's what I ended up doing. I was setting up an attack here. I'm getting medevacs. I'm getting a bunch of bio, some more tanks. And I'm setting up an attack. I'm also getting a turret because he might go DTs. Once again, I don't know my opponent from practice, so I don't know if he's like crazy to go for anything like DTs. And I'm still looking for the observer, which isn't here though. Here we go. I'm setting up the attack. I'm putting all my units onto a hotkey. I'm not gonna push out with every unit at once. I'm gonna send some units forwards. And I see the Stalkers now, so I know he doesn't go for a counter blink into my main. And here I did my first real mistake in the game. So I think I went for additional tanks here. I think I should have gone straight into more bio units and not more tanks. Because tanks are really good for that one timing. But because I'm attacking, I lose my tanks probably, and I can't really rebuild them. It's much better to go for upgrades or more medevacs or like Starport, Ghost Tag. Like tanks are really good if you have a high number, or they're really good for a timing attack like this. But they're not good to like continuously make like this. I either have to commit or I have to like not commit. And in this case I'm doing something in between, which is gonna come into effect later. In this case I noticed he doesn't have anything actually, but there's some more Stalkers coming. And here it looked like I was actually winning the game pretty hard. And I think I should have. So in this moment I thought to myself, oh, I think I'm actually winning this game, guys. I think I got this. He recalled the Warp Prism, the second Colossus pops out though. And now he's gonna attack into me with like a larger army, I think. Which is going to crush me actually. The Warp Prism is also used like really nicely to outpower his structures. And now I'm actually losing everything. And this is the problem that I was talking about. I did lose even the medevac. I lose everything. It's not bad because I'm actually in a good position. However, the tanks are pretty useless. I should have gone for additional barracks. I should have gone into maybe additional Starport tag. Going into tank play like this was a mistake. I could have had a much more like stronger army now. I could have just retreated, but I still committed and I ended up losing a lot here. That was a big mistake. That was a big mistake from my part. Now the transition is coming late. You see me adding another 2 barracks. These barracks are extremely late. I was oversaturated on my base for ages. And now you can really see like the big macro mistakes that I made. I'm not macroing properly. This macro could be 1,000 times better. For example, if you pulled away the SCVs earlier, that could already make your macro like 10,000 times better. I'm doing that right now. But it's actually gonna come into effect later. I'm gonna talk about it more when it's actually affecting the game. Right now it's just a small mistake maybe. And now this is the process of stabilizing. I'm just checking to see what's going on. I think, by the way, at this moment, I'm not sure. Maybe I should have checked the replay on that. I think he was double expanding here. I think that's already the 4th base that he's taken. So I'm being really defensive, even though my opponent is double expanding. That is not really great. And I'm making more tanks. Once again, I'm doing an in-between, like, hybrid style, which is not really nice. Either you commit hard to tanks or you don't, but don't do like a hybrid style like I did in this game. I have done it a lot recently. I think that's a big mistake from me. I think. Now I'm just making sure that he doesn't attack me, but once again, I didn't realize he was double expanding here. Probably double expanding, I'm still not sure. I was so scared, like look at that, I was like constantly fearing the attack, and now look at this. Pay attention to my bio. Whoop, disruptor hit. I lose like 10 supply of bio there for free. This wasn't nerfs. This was just me getting outplayed, to be honest. But I noticed the observer at least. I just got outplayed really hard there because I simply wasn't feeling comfortable. Yeah, I wasn't feeling comfortable. I should have attacked way sooner. I'm waiting for such a long time here, even though he double expanded. I'm getting out macroed, and now what I was referring to earlier. Now the real macro mistake happened. So the real macro mistake here is I never got a 4th base. Look at my natural. I'm already mined out pretty much there, and in my main base. I'm already mined out. I need another base. If I don't get another base, I'm pretty much all in. But I'm not all in because I'm tacking up to an armory, so I'm getting additional upgrades. It's not like I want to all in. The bunker is really nice at the 3rd, of course. And now I'm just waiting for the ghost to attack. But now, I waited like 2 minutes after he had the expand on the 4th base. So now, he probably out-macroed me at this point, and he has much more units than I ever have. I gave him so much time, and he has like such good tech army. I still have an advantage, I think, but in just a second you're gonna see me get probably out microed. Let's see. That was a misclick. Let's see if I get out microed. This situation I don't remember 100%. What I was thinking here is I got this. I'm gonna attack him. I wasn't aware of the 4th base. I thought this was his 3rd. The MP was decent. The shield battery is really good. His defensive structures are really good. Like that was terrifying. Like the shield battery, the cannons, I stimped in too early there. He has so many zealots and I just ended up getting crushed here, in fact. 2 tanks left behind. This was a complete disaster for me. I could have done much better. And now, look at what I'm doing next. I'm getting a 4th base. Right now, I'm getting a 4th base when I was already pretty much mined out earlier. And I'm sitting at around 65 SCVs, I think. And I'm just oversaturated, and this is really bad. I lost my fight. He has 4 base income. He's probably taking a 5th as we speak, and I got myself into an amazing position after the defense against the Blink Stalkers, but then I just made plenty of mistakes that put me not behind. I'm still actually not in a bad spot, but it's so bad. Like look at the macro. I have so many SCVs that just can't mine efficiently. It's really bad for me. It was a disaster for sure. Start was good, but then I just my macro was pretty good. Like I'm actually making units consistently, but the game got so messed up that in general it's just a disaster. I'm not mining efficiently, and my army composition is all over the place. I'm still not mining efficiently. There was so much more potential in this game. I could have actually crushed in this game, I think. Instead, I'm struggling for such a long time just because once again, I didn't I didn't have a structure pretty much. My structure was all over the place. I'm getting outplayed. Look at the warp prism harassment. That is really hard to deal with. Now I'm just like, okay, screwed. I'm just gonna attack. I don't care about the warp prism. But now he's gonna be like, hey, Blink Stalker left, Disruptor to the right, and whatever. And I'm just, I don't know. I fell apart pretty much. I would assume. But keep in mind, my army is still very strong, and that's what I knew. I knew my army was going to be strong, especially with the harassment he did, and the Liberators can take care of that problem, so My army is still powerful. I can still do this. I can do this. That's all I thought. I have Liberate the tank. I have Ghost as well. I have good upgrades. He's not ahead in the upgrades. I'm on 2 upgrades very soon. My 4th base is 10. It's like decades too late, but whatever. I'll attack him and I will win the game with this. I killed the Disruptor. This is pretty decent. I get hit pretty heavily there though. And my micro here, I have to say, my micro is pretty good. I'm not getting out microed. I'm actually out microing him. But then the Zealot run by, that's kind of messing me up to some extent. But finally I'm moving the SCV somewhere where they can mine efficiently. And yeah, this was a good attack. This was a really good attack. I'm pushing forward. I can do this. Upgrades are even. The Zealots are defended pretty much. Like, my reinforcements will take care of that problem. Here, the Disruptors had a pretty reasonable connection. That wasn't great for me. I'm just making sure that I defend, and I'm making sure that I attack at the same time. At this point, I F2'd across the map, so I have a lot of units here, so I can finish the game. I have to finish the game. If I don't, I'm gonna lose because he has so much more income than me. Right now, I'm still mining off 1 base, by the way. I have 1 base income against a 3 base Protoss. Oh, wait. Well, I have 4 bases technically, but I'm mining off 1. He's mining off like 3 bases right now, I think, or 2.5 at least. So this is really bad. He doesn't even have the gas at the 4th, I just realized. So like, this situation is winnable for sure. But now I just ended up getting stormed, and the DTs did a very good job. He's just gonna blink on top of my Liberators. And as soon as I lose my army, the macro is once again gonna come into effect. So the Liberator harassment is good here. The position is good. But now pay attention to my macro after this fight. So I'm not winning this fight, I would say, but I'm trading pretty well. And now really like the macro factor comes in. So look at my supply. I'm on 4 base, but I have 92 supply right now. I'm dropping to a 92 supply in a 17-minute game. Even though I could have just been on 4 base income. I could have just had way more units. I could have just had like more medevacs, more quality. But instead, I don't mine. Like, my main base is not mining. My natural is not mining. My 4th base has just started mining. I think it was 7 minutes. 7 minutes after he took his 4th base, I started mining from mine. That's what it was. It was like a good 7 minutes, maybe even 10. Maybe it was... Nah, I think it was like 7 minutes. So I lost so much money because of that, and I screwed up big time here. It was a complete mess still. But I'm still not losing. It's not like I have to leave the game. I'm actually winning because I took really good fights and I traded really efficiently. So I'm still in this easily. I can still win this game. Right now, something that you might have not noticed when you saw this game, I never got additional upgrades because I could never afford them. I thought like, okay, I have to finish the game right now, like so many times in this game. Even though, like, look at his army. Probably what I could have done here is just get level 3 weapons, get like 160 supply and then attack. Instead what I ended up doing is I attack right now, I think. I attack right now, but I would never recommend that. Like, it's way too early. I can't attack right now. I'm not attacking though, so that's good. That's definitely the correct choice. But now I start moving, and now I probably start attacking any moment, which is gonna not be great, I'll tell you that. The bunker is really nice there, of course. And now I'm just muckering. I'm like so unsure. I'm like, yeah, what should I do? Should I attack right now? I'm still sitting at 130 supply with like too many SCVs. Like, what should I do? I had no idea. I really didn't have an idea what his economy looked like. He could have so much more stuff in the background. I had no idea this entire game. And I was like, okay, let's go. I can do this. And this is the point where I attacked too early. His army is gonna be weaker over time. And I can just sit back a little more. I'm not sure why I'm getting tanked once again. Like, the tanks are so useless at this point. And he doesn't even have a base there. So I knew he didn't mine properly anymore. Oh, what is this? I'm sorry. That's some program I accidentally installed when I installed some other program. I still haven't uninstalled that one. Anyways, I'm losing this fight and I'm losing hope for this game. This was terrible. His army was proper shit. He's making Zealot Stalker against Bio. Like, that's a proper shit composition. Zealot Stalker is not good. Like, Bio is so much better. So much better. But I'm losing. And this really tells you the story of this game. It was a complete disaster. He's taking a unreasonable fight here, so I could still win this. But this game, in some moments I looked really brilliant, but in general it was a complete disaster. But I had my moments. The Blink Stalker defense was really good, of course. But now, at this point, it's just a struggle. I actually think I could have still won the game, but look at that. I'm getting out-microed. I can't even micro against the DTs. I win this fight in the end, but he's gonna warp in here. There you go. And he's gonna pick up the Disruptor and micro with it. I have to snipe. There are more DTs. And I don't have a scan right now, I think. Yeah, I don't have a scan, as you can see. Otherwise, I would have scanned. I'm not stupid. And yeah, now I'm losing all my units. And as soon as I lose all my units, the game is gonna be over. I have so many medevacs. Like, my army is still so good. But now, I lost my moment. I don't have any more income. I'm losing, like, I'm mining off one base. My third base is being mined out. Now it's just starting to look really, really bad for me. There's nothing I can do anymore, I think. The only way that I can win this game... I never got level 3, by the way. I still didn't get it. I should have gotten it. I should have waited longer. I should have gotten into 160 supply. And then I should have killed him. Instead, I was impatient. I didn't know what position I found myself in. And I ended up struggling this entire... yeah, like for the entire last 5 minutes or something like that. That is really painful. A very entertaining game to watch though, especially from the caster perspective. For me it was a very chaotic game because I didn't know what was going on. I'm using the Liberators for harassment because they're not that great in the fight because they don't have +2. In case you don't know, if Liberators have +2, they one-shot Stalkers. I mean two-shot. But if they don't have range, if they don't have +2, then they're pretty useless in the fight at this point. And I still have a good army. So at this moment, I should have pulled the boys. If I had SCVs in this fight here, maybe I could have done something. But now, he had Storm and he completely annihilated me. There was nothing I could have done anymore. He wasn't actually mining properly, as you can see. So he was never in a great position. I could have, almost certainly, I should have won this game for sure. This was totally my fault to lose the game. He completely outplayed me because I was just struggling all game long. I got outclassed in this one, even though I had my moments. But I think I can do better than that. I can definitely do better than that. I can be more patient. I can be less chaotic. I can get my 4th phase earlier. There are so many easy mistakes that I can just fix, which makes it like really, yeah, like easy to improve. Like it's so easy to fix these mistakes. Next time I'm just gonna structure my play a little more. I know I'm capable of that, and then it's not gonna be such a disaster, hopefully. The disruptor splits are great, but now like, I'm pulling SCVs 23 minutes into the game with 84 supply. This is obviously not looking great, and the DTs are pretty much killing me as well. Reinforcements are not gonna be enough. I have so much bio. But he's gonna have another cannon, he has an Archon, he has overcharged battery, he's microing like crazy with the Warp Prism. I got destroyed in the end. I got destroyed after a great Blink Stalker defense. I was never able to capitalize on it and I threw the game pretty much. That's how I see this one. But I'm capable of better and I can do better than that. So let's go ahead and skip to the next one. On Eternal Empire. So I'm down 1-0. This is a best of 3. Let's see what happens in this one. On the top left, you can see that this game is being played on Central United States. So this is my server advantage. I only have like 130 ping. It's gonna go up in like a couple minutes, then you can see it. I only have like about 135 ping on Central. And he has like about 180 or 90 ping on Central, I think. So I have the ping advantage here for sure. He had the ping advantage in the last game. So this is my advantage. This is my chance of coming back into the game. Ping is really important, because if I don't, like, 130 ping is nothing. I can micro properly. In the last game I couldn't really micro properly, because I have like 175 ping. So that's really bad. But I can work with 135, like, easily. I can work with that. And my confidence wasn't, like, dropped after the last game, because I still thought, like, okay, I did put on a good show. It was a good game. I made, like, some really bad, like, mistakes, like not getting a flurf base, for example. But I can just structure my play a little bit more here, and I can just easily win still. In this game, I prepared a build on her, because it's Eternal Empire. It's a very good map to, like, yeah, to use a prepared build, because this map is very standard. It's a low risk map. For me, this was the low risk map. I'm taking a very low risk if I do like a proxy, for example, because this map is very standard. It's hard to rush. Here I also killed the probe, which is absolutely amazing. So my rush that I'm gonna do in this game is I'm gonna get a factory immediately. I'm gonna marine expand, which he doesn't know about, and I'm going reactor. The SCV right now saw it Sabako first, and by the way, what the SCV also scouts is the pylon position. His main base pylon is positioned in a way that he's gonna build a shield battery, and he's gonna like make a shield battery and shade across the map with the adapt immediately. That's the purpose of the pylon placement. It's when they build the pylon near the nexus, but that's only the case if you play it like really high level. I know that for even Master League players this is probably not the case. Even Grandmaster players probably don't do it. But if you play at pro level, like, this is a very common thing. And this is the cheese that I wanted to do. It's a proxy starport. But the starport is at an uncommon location. This location is not common at all. At least I've only seen Europeans do that. I've never seen Korean players do that. Only Europeans. So this was a clam build, I call that. Like, build that I think I clammed it like first. But as you can see, scouted. And this is so bad. Like, this is a complete disaster. My starport got scouted, and I now need to transition. But it's Eternal Empire. Proxying on this map is not really a high risk, because he can't capitalize on that. It's not like he can just all-in me now. It's like a very large macro map. So I still had some confidence. I could just mix it up. And he doesn't know what I'm doing, so I still had a good chance here. So I was just doing a 3-rax, because the 3-rax is really good against a Blinkstalker Pope. So I did a 3-rax. And now I'm scouting with my Hellions. I'm making sure that he's expanding. That's the main thing here. I want to see a third base. If I don't see a third base, I need to somehow prepare for it by making marauders, for example, or making a turret. I saw the probe moving towards the third. So now I know he's gonna take a third, and I can do something about it. Here we go. I'm moving in with the Hellions. I'm trying to do some damage. I got the adapt, which is nice. But I obviously don't get anything done. He doesn't know what I'm doing though, so that's good. He did find the proxy starport, but he doesn't know that I'm going 3-rack. So he might be scared of a Woodermine drop, he might be scared of like a Hellion drop. Therefore, I'm not in a bad position, even though I got scouted. I know what's going on, he doesn't. So he can feel uncomfortable still. I'm just getting my bio up. My eBay is very late. If he had gone into like Dark Templars, I would have been in a lot of trouble here. Or if he had gone into like an Oracle. Basically, if you do any kind of cheese, like if he had done any kind of proxy, Stargate or Phoenix play or anything like that, I would have been pretty far behind. Colossus as well. Colossus play would be pretty bad here as well. That's the danger of going like 3-racks like that. Because if the opponent is just camping with Colossus, there's no way I'm gonna do damage. And you see how early his third base is. Like, if he's taking such an early third, there's nothing I can do to punish it. I'm just falling behind so hard. Like, my +1 is only just starting. +1 at 5:20 minutes into the game is really slow. That's super slow. I need to get damage done. And the only way I can do some damage in this game is if he is going into gateway heavy style. So I had to hope for PartinG to make a lot of gateway units. If he had gone into Colossus, I would have been in so much trouble. So I'm setting up a Withermine drop so the Blink Stalkers are not that annoying. I see the Observer, it's on the bottom side of my base. I saw it, but I didn't have a scan. Here I'm like trying to figure out where the Observer is. I just showed you where it is. It's right there. Is it there still? It doesn't look like I can find it anymore. So I lost track of the Observer. That sucks. Because I saw the Observer. At least the Observer didn't see my medevac. And now I'm just moving out with another 2 medevacs and I'm trying to pressure him. This pressure is not designed to kill him. And this is why this is so bad against Colossus. Because I only have 3 Marauders. So what 2 Colossus would absolutely annihilate my army. And also, he has a 3rd base for like such a long time already. So like my income is really bad. But look at this. This is what brings me back into the game. Like moves like that are really good. The Hellions, are they gonna get damaged then as well? No, not really. But I see that he doesn't have Colossus, so I feel good about this. I feel very good about this because he doesn't have Colossus. Even though my build wasn't working properly, I still had some confidence. I have a Marine heavy composition against somebody going into Gateway heavy composition. That's always an advantage. Okay, right now I know that I can't do any damage because he has Stalker and Sentries, so there's no way I can go in and do some damage. I'm gonna scan shortly, I think, to see what's going on. And then I'm gonna try and do some damage. Let's see if I'm able to do that. So I'm scanning ahead. I'm losing some units, but that's fine. Only 4 units died there. Could have been worse. And this is my moment. So this right here is my moment to shine. So he's doing harassment, and I can defend this with reinforcements. But this is my moment, because he's distracted. I have to do something now. If I don't do anything in this moment, I'm going to lose this game. This game is over if I don't do anything right now. Because he's mining so much more than me. So I just had to go for it. I just had to Doom Drop. This map is really good for a Doom Drop like that. Because I'm getting into this position. I'm microing my Withermines, I'm microing my Bio. And I'm actually doing a lot of damage here while I'm struggling to defend at home. But eventually I will defend at home. Eventually I will be fine. And this is my moment to shine right now. I have to do some damage. I really have to. Picking up my units. And I'm getting out of there. That was not bad, but not good either. I'm getting the Warp Prison though, and this is what made the situation good for me. If I hadn't gotten this Warp Prison right there, I would have fallen behind in this game. This Warp Prison kill was so important, and now my transition is gonna be a lot of Marines and tanks. The reason I'm building tanks is because PartinG likes to make sentries and force field. And tanks really nullify the effect of force field. I can just siege up my tanks from a distance, and he can't keep me away with force fields if I have tanks. So the idea here was to go for an all-in. I didn't feel comfortable going into a macro game anymore. I just felt like with the way that the first game went, I should have just ended it earlier. Because I had the advantage, and in this game I thought the same. I was like, okay, the last game was actually not that great. I have to end this game fast again. If I don't end this game fast, I'm gonna struggle again. I'm gonna end up falling behind. Also, this kind of all-in is really good to do if you're unsure like how bad or how good your situation is. I didn't know if I was actually behind or not, so the best way to find out is to like all-in. Because an all-in is a good way to figure out if you're actually ahead or not. Like, if it's an even game, all-ins are bad, but if it's a bad game for you, all-in is good, and if you're ahead, all-in is probably also good. The reason it's bad when it's even is because if it's an even game, you should always be able to defend. And if let's say you are behind and you're all in, then at least you have a chance, right? Because the longer the game goes, the more of a disadvantage you have, pretty much. That's how it works. So you don't want to carry that disadvantage into the late game. But sometimes you want to carry your advantage into the late game. But at the same time, you can give the Protoss too much time. So I didn't want to give him any time. I thought I might have been ahead in this game, but I didn't want to give my opponent any time to like get his setup again. I felt like in the last game, I gave him too much time. So this is why I ended up doing making the decision to attack him like this. Because I knew if I give him another like minute, he's just gonna have Disruptor, he's gonna have Storm and everything like that, and he's gonna crush me. So this was my moment. I knew I needed to hit it, if I don't hit this moment, I'm probably gonna lose the same way I did in the first game. And I really didn't want that to happen again. I'm still making a transition. My macro in this game is much better. I'm not overproducing SCVs, and I could make a third base here any moment as well. But I was a little like, not nervous, but I got a little ahead here, so I thought like, I just have to end the game here, I just have to end the game here. And I'm going to be able to end the game here, because as you can see, the fight is going in my favor. He doesn't really have any units anymore. There's still Liberators plus tanks in position. He's doing some really good micro with the War Prism, but this is not going to be enough. He's actually going to fall here. This is going to be the game pretty much. I'm scanning to make sure there's no DT swapping in. I need to see that preemptively so he doesn't like blink on top of me or something like that. That could be a way I could lose the fight, so I was just safety scanning to get like rid of observers, to get rid of Dark Templars, or anything like that. And GG is called. I managed to win the second game in this best of 3. Let's go ahead and skip to the next one. Alright, so it's 1-1, and I had a really good chance. Like this was pretty good what I showed so far, right? That was a really good performance, not bad at all. I could have won the first game. I did win the second game, so I was feeling good. I was feeling it. Okay, this is the last map. And so far, PartinG has purely relied on standard blink play. He hasn't done anything crazy yet. He hasn't done like a proxy yet. He hasn't done Colossus play yet. He's just gone into like the most standard play he could ever do. So in this game I was like, okay, I'm out of ideas. I don't really know what I should do. He scouted my starport in the second game. He failed with the blink stalker in the first game. I have no idea, like literally no idea what he's gonna bring to the table in this game. I had no idea. And the best way to play if you have no idea, and if you think like your opponent might do something crazy now, which I thought, is to play as safe as possible. And in this game, I choose to go for like the safest build order possible. That's the plan here. The safest build possible. That's what I had to do, pretty much. And for me, the safest build possible in this moment in the tournament was going to be a 3-rack. Pretty fast, like in the last game, but not with a failed Hellion drop before. I'm just gonna go 3-racks, and I'm just gonna defend against everything that he's gonna throw at me. If it's gonna be a Blink Stalker pressure, it's gonna be good for me. If it's gonna be a Colossus drop, it's gonna be good for me. If it's gonna be a Proxy Stargate, it's gonna be good for me. The only thing that's bad for me is if he plays standard. If he goes 3 Nexus, if he goes 3 Nexus into Colossus, anything like that is bad for me, and I'm actually behind. But if he does anything aggressive, which PartinG is known for, he is probably going to be behind in the game, and I can probably confuse him pretty well. So yeah, here we go. I'm macroing up. I didn't scout in this game because I didn't think he would proxy me here. This is a large map. I'm making a bunker anyway shortly, and I'm scouting for proxies as well. I don't know, maybe I forgot to scout. I don't actually remember. I might have just forgotten to scout. But in this case, I'm just playing a standard opening. I am doing the same thing that I did before. I know, I remember now. So the reason I don't scout is because I built 2 Marines anyways. So I'm doing like the safest build ever. If you build 2 Marines like that, there's no way he can do any damage, even with like the fastest adept on Earth. There's no way he can do damage. So that's what I did here. I'm getting the bunker slightly later, but that's fine. I'm getting 2 Marines, so the adept is not gonna do anything. And here you go. Second barracks already. That's part of the plan of doing like a 3 racks and a safe build. That was the plan here. I'm catching the adept, and I don't think I'm getting it, right? I'm not sure if I do get it. I think, actually I do. Oh my god. That's awesome. That's really good. Alright, in this game, I was still not sure what he was gonna try and do here. I didn't scout, so I don't know if he has a proxy. And I'm not thinking about proxy right now. I'm just thinking about Blink Stalkers. This is what PartinG is known for. Blink Stalkers, that's what I'm thinking right now. I have nightmares about that. Blink Stalkers everywhere, into my base. That was my thought process here, probably. And now I'm just setting up my build. I'm getting a Cyclone for safety. I see like the second gateway and I see the Stalker. So at this point I thought like, okay, this is going to be Twilight. 100% Twilight, 100%. No way he's gonna do a Stargate. He has a Stalker, he did Adept first, he has a second gateway timed like in the last games. Pretty much the same timing. But now, look at that! Look into my main, I'm being attacked. Oh, Oracle. And my Cyclone wasn't in position, so I'm actually taking some damage. Which is really bad, because I shouldn't have taken any damage. I'm not able to kill the Oracle, and my Reaper didn't die, that's good. If my Reaper had died here, it's actually really bad. But the reason why it's so important to keep the Reaper alive is actually very simple. I need to know if he's doing one Oracle into Blink or if he's going Phoenix. And so far I think, see, the Oracle doesn't have, it's the same Oracle. So I do know at this point that it's probably going to be a one Oracle into Blink play. One Oracle into Blink means I don't have to really defend against the Oracle, because it's only one, and my Cyclone can defend against it. So I don't have to invest any money into turrets. I don't have to invest any money into eBays, like an eBay to make turrets in the first place. I can just go for my medevac timing. And the medevac timing is going to be really important in this game. Now I'm making the eBay, because obviously I need +1. It's going to be a late +1 again, which is bad against Colossus, but good against like gateway heavy styles. Because once again, I'm making a lot of Marines, so if he's going for fast Colossus, Marines are really bad, but if he's going for gateway heavy styles, my late +1 timing before medevacs is going to be crucial. I see that that's still the same Oracle, so he's still like doing the one Oracle thing. And now I'm pushing out. Now I'm doing the attack. I know he's going into Blink. I know he's taking a third. So I have a perfect idea what my opponent is doing. And I'm trying to be like as intelligent as possible. So I see like so many Stalkers. And if you see that many Stalkers, guys, this is a trap. He's trying to lure me into him, because he knows I'm weak. He knows I don't have +1. He knows I don't have combat shields. So he has so many units right now. I can't fight this. But at the same time, you can't have that many units without skipping something. So I think in this case, he was skipping probes, he was skipping upgrades, he was skipping something. He had to skip something. If he didn't skip anything, then there's no way he would have that many Stalkers. Then my build would be like complete trash. But I wasn't thinking that my build was complete trash at this point. It was working beautifully. And it should have been the counter. So I still had confidence, if I just attack later, I still had that confidence that if I just attack later, I will be able to crush him. That's what I thought here. So I'm waiting patiently for my +1. I'm waiting patiently for more units. By the way, that medevac was pretty stupid. I don't know why I ran it into that, because I knew that was the proxy starport. So I could have just like ran it the other direction, would have been better probably. But now he obviously knows about the medevac, and that really sucks. I'm just getting rid of the Stargate because I don't have any, like I don't have anything better to do right now. I killed the Oracle, which is really nice because it can't reveal my army anymore. And now I'm basically just going for the attack. This Marine is scouting for Stalkers. I want to see if my medevac is safe. And yes, it is safe. So I can just go for the drop. At the same time, I'm still expanding. I'm never going all in. All in is not really working in Legacy of the Void. You always have to have a transition. Like, I force him to make units with this pressure, and then at the same time I have a transition. That's kind of the idea. I see he's being distracted, so I go for the Withermine drop, and this is gonna like really distract him. I'm gonna scan ahead, and I see that my plan worked. He only has Zealots, he doesn't have Storm, and he didn't make as much like economy, and now I even see that he doesn't have charge, but now he has charge. So maybe if I hit earlier I would have been even better off. But yeah, look at that, like my bio is so good right now. It's like so strong because he doesn't have any AoE, he doesn't have any Colossus, and he doesn't even have like proper sentry energy or anything like that. He pretty much has nothing. I just have to reinforce my army, and as soon as I like reinforce my army, I'm gonna have like the snowball effect. This is gonna be a snowball effect. The more ranged units, the more bio you have against Zealots, melee units, the more cost efficient your bio is gonna trade. That's pretty much the theory here. So I scan ahead probably here. I see his army, okay, it's consisting of Zealots. I can fight this. I just have to be careful because of force fields. But if I'm careful against the force field, I'll be able to fight this for sure. I'm scanning ahead, I see, okay, high Templars, but he doesn't seem to have Storm yet. And I'm just going for it at this point. I don't want to overextend though, because you can see the Shield Battery being Shield Battery. Pretty damn strong. So I have to be careful for a moment. My medevacs still have plenty of energy, so I can restore all my health. And now I'm going in again, after the Shield Battery is pretty much like drained. And now I can do it again. I'm splitting against the Storm. This was actually really good micro. And I'm trying to like get into a really good position. I pick off High Templar. He only has 2 Storms. I have to macro at the same time, so I can't focus on the army all the time. I'm just retreating again for reinforcements, and I'm going in again. And now I realize, okay, he doesn't have any units. I can fight this. I just need to be careful of Storm. First Storm is landing decently, but not bad for us. I get into a pretty good concave. This concave is really amazing for us. And I can win this fight, dropping the Wooder Mines into the Stalkers. This was some good micro from me. I was able to win this fight. And of course, if I win this fight, I'm gonna win the game, because I have a 3rd base, I have upgrades, even ghosts coming in. And there we go. GG is called. I managed to win against PartinG here in the DreamHack. Yeah, these were the ideas that I had. I hope you enjoyed the commentary that I did here. I was obviously really happy with that win. I'm gonna pick some other games as well. The next one is probably gonna be the next series of this group, which was gonna be against Time. That was my series against PartinG that I won 2-1. I was pretty happy about it. GG's, and I will see you guys next time for another DreamHack Masters analysis. Bye bye.